Ever since Big Mom's defeat in Wano, the community has been divided on whether or not she will ever return to the story. Today, I want to give my thoughts on that, as well as tell you guys not just why I think she will most definitely make her return eventually, but also an interesting matchup she could find herself in with a specific pirate very soon that could potentially lead to her real death. This is going to be an interesting theory video on how I think Big Mom will make her return and permanent exit from the story very soon. So let's get into it. And if you do get enjoyment out of today's video, then consider hitting that like and subscribe button. It helps me go a long way in making these videos for you guys. Many of us, including myself, believe that regardless of what happened to Kaido at the end of Wano, Big Mom is not dead, and Big Mom did survive the encounter with Law, Kid, and the bombs in the tower basement. And some of the reasons why I think this are the following. Number 1, Big Mom is a long-term antagonist. The way I see it, there are two types of villains in One Piece. There's A, long-term, smaller immediate impact villains, and then there's B, short-term, larger immediate impact villains. And Big Mom, in my opinion, falls into the first category. Big Mom is a long-term villain. She will never get the focus and attention in one single arc that Kaido got in Wano. As even in Whole Cake, she was the main focus, but Katakuri was a heavy focus as well, being Luffy's final fight, being the one in charge when Big Mom was in starvation, being the one to introduce the number one ability of the arc for Luffy to learn and overcome in Future Sight, and even having his own mini flashback as well. While King, on the other hand, in Wano didn't get nearly the same amount of spotlight that Katakuri got in Whole Cake, because he was behind Kaido, and Kaido was taking all the spotlight in that arc. From fighting Luffy, being the one to introduce every single new ability, and being extremely relevant all throughout the arc up until his defeat. Big Mom, on the other hand, never got a major fight, nor a brand new ability to showcase in Whole Cake, her own arc seemingly dedicated to her. And then when she did get a big fight, it was in another villain's arc where she had to take a backseat to Kaido and Luffy and fight Kid and Law instead, even though she clearly had her sights on Luffy and he was the whole reason she came to Wano to begin with. Whereas Kaido got all the attention, all the fights, all the screen time, as much Kaido as Oda could possibly give us in as little time as possible for one single arc completely dedicated to this villain, and then boom, he's gone. So Kaido would be a great example of short-term, larger immediate impact, whereas Big Mom leans more toward long-term, smaller immediate impact. You can make the argument that the sum of all of Big Mom's impact from all the arcs she's been involved in so far equals the impact Kaido had in one single arc, the only arc we really get any Kaido at all. Big Mom's impact is more spread out in smaller increments, while Kaido was like a giant but shorter burst of intensity. And because of this, I think Big Mom ending her story here, having taken the backseat to Kaido and having not accomplished a single thing she set out to Wano to do in the first place, would be a premature exit. And the second reason would be Big Mom's final words to Kid and Law. Don't think this will be enough to stop me. I think this one explains itself. Oda is the type of writer who brings everything back full circle, and seemingly a lot of smaller quotes and moments that seem meaningless come back later on and we realize just how meaningful they really were. I don't think Big Mom said this just for the sake of saying it. She's arguably the most durable character we have come across yet. If anybody were to survive those barrage of attacks from Law and Kid and eventually the bombs, it's her. It would be a case of classic Oda foreshadowing. And speaking of foreshadowing, the third reason would be Pudding's words to Blackbeard in chapter 1064, where she says, "If Mama is still alive, you won't be talking like that much longer." To me, this is clear foreshadowing from Oda that Big Mom is indeed alive, and Pudding's words will come back full circle sooner or later. Big Mom, at the end of the day, is a pirate searching for One Piece, just like everybody else. Even in her final moment, we saw her think back to Roger and the One Piece and her desperation to reach all the answers. Knowing that Pudding activating her third eye is the only way she will ever be able to read the poneglyphs, an essential part in finding the treasure, Big Mom will absolutely prioritize her retrieval once she finds out Blackbeard has kidnapped her. And just to be clear, not because Pudding is her own daughter. We've seen how Big Mom treats a lot of her own children like Lola and Charlotte Moscato, but without Pudding, Big Mom's dream can never become a reality. Quick side note here, guys, we know Big Mom's dream is to have a member of every race in the world living in her kingdom, Totland, and like most pirates, we never really found out why she wants the One Piece. I think she wants to become pirate king or queen, so that it will be possible to attract all these different races to live in her kingdom once she has the title. Exactly like Luffy and how we recently learned that he only wants to be king in order to accomplish his true dream, which we still don't know what that is. But you can watch my Joy Boy video if you want to know my full thoughts on that. I'll leave the link in the description for those interested. The way I see it going down, Big Mom, once she heals up, will have added Kid and Law to her shit list along with Luffy. She'll probably first go back home and realize that Whole Cake Island has been invaded, her commanders beaten, and her key to the puzzle of One Piece, Pudding, captured. This will immediately shift her focus from the Supernova Trio to another member of the worst generation, Teach. One thing we know about Big Mom is she doesn't let anyone get away with disrespecting her. She chased Luffy all the way to Wano, gladly willing to throw down with Kaido if need be, simply to get her revenge on Luffy. Once she finds out what Blackbeard has done in her absence, she's going to stop at nothing to take him down. And she's clearly shown she's not afraid of anybody, anything, or any circumstances, and she's very confident in her ability to take down anyone. A bit too overconfident if you ask me. She'll probably plan to target Blackbeard as a priority to retrieve Pudding, right before targeting Luffy to fix the damage done to her name and reputation. But Blackbeard needs a big moment here before going into this final fight with Luffy. And I really don't think Garp is going to die to Blackbeard, or even come face to face with him at this point. So I think this fight between Big Mom and Blackbeard could very possibly end with Big Mom's death. That would do wonders for Blackbeard's character and threat level moving into the final stages of this saga. And I voiced my opinion before on how I think Shanks will die to Blackbeard as well. Given I'm far more confident in Blackbeard killing Shanks than I am in Blackbeard killing Big Mom for story purposes. However, I don't think it's too far-fetched that he could end up killing both, if given enough time to spread the two out properly. Perhaps killing Big Mom first, and Shanks later on towards the final war or right before it happens. So let me know what you guys think we might see in store for Big Mom in the future, or if we get anything else from her at all. Let me know in the comments, like and share if you enjoyed the video, and be sure to check out this video on why I think Blackbeard vs Shanks is destined to happen. So thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.